You're listening to Athletes and Avatars, the podcast for 30-year-old gaming dads who peaked in high school and prestige in Warzone.
We break down sports, gaming, movie hot takes while our wives nod politely and absolutely do not listen.
From late night lobbies, youth league sidelines, we're still chasing glory.
And ignoring bedtime routines to debate Madden ratings.
Athletes,
and avatars.
because we still think we've got it.
And we definitely don't. Welcome to this week's episode of Athletes and Avatars, episode 3, believe it or not. The fastest growing sports podcast out there. When you start at 0 and go to 20, you're growing fast. Today we're going to talk about fantasy draft for kids. Seriously, it's a real thing. We're going to burn through some NFC, NFL over under win totals, and then I watched the Rocky franchise this weekend, so I'll kind of break that down. But first, some big news out of our local college team here, the Missouri Tigers men's hoops team just landed their new top 5 in the nation commit, Jason Crow Jr., little lefty point guard out of Inglewood, California. 5th ranked prospect in his class. Definitely the biggest commit Missouri's ever gotten since Michael Porter Jr., which I don't know if we can count it. I mean, it counts because he played for the team, but like 3 games. So, but in terms of that, this is the biggest recruit Missouri's ever gotten. So, what are your initial thoughts on that?
Yeah, I glanced at that as well and saw, as far as like Rivals rating, right, he is the second highest Missouri recruit ever. And I was trying to think back, you have to go pretty far back anywhere that Mizzou's landed a big time recruit out of state, right? So like Mizzou does semi-often land a whale, I guess you would call it, if it's a St. Louis guy, if it's a Kansas City guy, maybe Kansas guy, somewhere in that area, right? But to pull a guy from Inglewood, California, especially that's regarded as this like ready to go scoring piece. They said the other night in the Peach game or whatever he was in with all the McDonald's All-American guys, he dropped 36, right? And so it's like, this is not somebody that's like, okay, training wheels at first, hopefully he makes a big impact later. Like, no, this is come in, that's the guy, get out of the way,
Yeah,
and I just, again, I can't tell you the time Mizzou's landed somebody like that.
Mizzou head coach Dennis Gates got this kid over Kentucky and USC, I think were his other top schools. I do know Missouri came in kind of late with a scholarship offer. I believe they're the last team to offer him a scholarship, and he commits. With the way college sports, being in college athletics myself, and just the landscape we're in now, until he's on campus practicing and in games, it's just a headline at this point. But definitely is a lot of good news coming out of Mizzou, and Coach Gates has done a great job. Is entering his third season, I believe, with Missouri, fourth,
fourth, something like that.
I think it's third. I think it's his third. So we'll see what happens there. My biggest complaint with Missouri historically has been we don't actually land like the big Missouri kids. Like if you think about like Jason Tatum, Bradley Beal, the Hansbrough brothers, there's a handful of others. Those are just ones off the top of my head that I know went elsewhere.
And that goes over to football too. Yeah, both sides of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think at football side, I think the biggest in-state was Burden in-state. Actually, I don't think he was.
Yeah, or DGB, Dorial Green Beckham.
Yeah, DGB was definitely outside of Burden, the guy I wasn't sure where he was from, but DGB definitely out of the Springfield area was the biggest get, and then a whole lot happened there with him. But in terms of recruit status, definitely the biggest get they've gotten. And then I was thinking about I just drove back from Springfield, Missouri today actually, so I just got done with a 3.5 hour drive to get here for the podcast. But I was kind of thinking on the way back, like the last time I could think of Mizzou hoops and Mizzou football being in the national headlines at the same time was 2008. And I don't even think if it was preseason hype that way. I know they ended up being in the news at the end. I know the basketball team made it to the Elite Eight. The football team, I think, had 4 losses that season, I believe. Something like that. So I can't, outside of like this year, probably next year, I can't think of a time both those sports have been kind of in the national conversation at the same time.
And really, that's most schools. Most schools have one or the other. Mizzou kind of dabbles in one and then the other, and you get your hopes up, and it never really pans out to be anything. But this definitely gets you excited. I mean, and that's the thing is Gates has other guys, so if you can get them to stay, which is the marquee thing, you might be cooking with something, but can you get everybody to stay and be on board for this? But
we'll see what happens this year. Mizzou football enters the season. I believe they're ranked 22nd in the preseason poll. A lot of question marks, I think, anyway. Losing Brady Cook, it's been a long time as a quarterback. Luther Burden goes to the draft. Lose offensive linemen, lose defensive people. I know he's got a big class coming in from the transfer portal and recruits and things like that, but a lot of new faces for sure. So until you see it on the field and see him prove it, it's hard to kind of project. The talent's there for sure, but will it mesh and will it work? And then on the court, Mizzou basketball definitely lost a lot. Tamar Bates, I believe, is playing for the Nuggets in the summer league. Our guy Caleb Grill, I believe, is playing for the Bulls. So I know Javon Porter. Is that the right brother?
Yes, I believe so.
Tramping, I know the Pepperdine after he left Fullerton. Then he went to somewhere in Nevada. I can't think of where it is off the top of my head, but he's coming in.
That's the one.
And then Mark Mitchell's coming back, who we both really like. I think he has potential to be a first-round pick in the draft this upcoming year. So a lot of excitement.
And they landed last year Aaron Crow, the kid out of here in Missouri that was highly regarded. He seems a bit undersized and small to me, but I mean he's regarded everywhere as a pretty explosive guard.
Yeah, so we'll see. We'll see what happens there with Mizzou. A lot to be excited about if you're in around or fans of Mizzou athletics. Anything else you want to add there before we move on?
No, I think that's a good way to dip our toe into it.
All right, we'll head on over to our next segment, which we call IRL Respawn. Taylor here, as I like to call him, our Ted Lasso, team of Ted Lasso, here has got a youth league fantasy draft. There are a couple of them, right? You got soccer and football, flag football?
We have fall soccer and fall flag football coming up. Draft rules have changed over the last year with the change in the guard at the Parks and Rec as far as leadership. So you used to have 5 freezes headed into a draft. Now you only have 3. And each round is staggered as far as what you're allowed to pick in that round. It's usually pick from the youngest players in one round. If it's a co-ed league, you pick female one round, male next round, kind of alternating that way. So it's it used to be going into a draft, I had a pretty good idea what half my team would be, and I just needed to fill in the spaces. Now with only having 3 freezes, you step into this, you're like, okay, I got these 3, but I really can't project that far ahead of what I'm going to be picking, which is I'm told to keep more competitiveness amongst all the teams, but it makes it pretty tough on coaches, especially the ones I know just from being a PE teacher and being around town as much as I am with the youth, a lot of the kids, but a lot of these are just dads showing up, right? And I feel for those guys because when you only got 3 freezes, you have no clue who you're winding up with if you don't know a couple of your kids' buddies or whoever it might end up being.
And freezes meaning keepers, right? Basically,
keepers, yeah. So the day of the draft or day before, we get sent the entire roster of the league, and then you submit your 3 freezes, and it's hey, these kids are off limits. Nobody can pick them. Their parents have confirmed with me they want me to freeze them, and we go from there.
All right,
round robin style, back and forth like snake draft. Yep.
Well, good luck with that. I'm sure we'll talk about it when that happens. I know we always kind of send some NFL the movie gifts from the movie draft day on those days, so I'm sure we'll hit that again. All right, this could take a while. We're in the dog days of summer here.
That's right.
The MLB All-Star break just came and went. Not a whole lot going on in the sporting world, so we thought what better time than to hit NFL win total over-unders. Both our teams are in the AFC, so we figured we'll do that next week. We'll do the NFC this week. Before we get started, just any general thoughts you have on the upcoming NFL season?
I think the Eagles have kind of shown a blueprint of you can't get it done against these elite teams like the Chiefs and the big boys unless you have a roster. I think the thought process used to be get the QB and figure it out later. I think the Eagles kind of just showed you, hey, if we have 4, 5, 6 guys you can't stop on our defensive line, even with a rookie corner and an aging corner and Darius Slay and a rookie safety-ish / nickel guy and Cooper DeJean, doesn't matter, right? Like we have a squad filled out to stop whatever elite quarterback you're going to bring our way. So I think that's kind of the blueprint. A lot of teams are going to try moving forward because Hurts, whether you like him or not, has been paid. So you can't even make the argument anymore. Oh, they're not paying their quarterback. That's why they can do this. They've paid almost everybody. They do a great job of that.
Yeah, and then they got Saquon coming off the most touches I think ever by a not just a running back, a player, in any category. Stop there. So he's also on the cover of Madden. So we got the Madden curse. We got the.
That's right.
If you go through the history of running backs who've had about as many touches as he has, is usually does not go well for those players.
That's true.
The next season, I think the only example of it is Mark Ingram, who's literally built different. Like
you've got the Bengals in the headlines for terrible reasons. Won't pay a rookie guy a guaranteed contract that everyone in the league pays off of offsetting language and things like that don't matter.
Yeah, that's a crazy story. Guaranteeing second round picks money, and the Browns and the Texans, I think, the only two that have their second round picks signed. Everyone else is kind of holding out now because they want.
The floodgates just opened Friday. Friday they went all the way down to pick 40 because that's where Tyler Shuck, the new Saints quarterback, got his fully guaranteed as well. The Dolphins fully guaranteed. The offensive lineman, we took at 36. So it seems like that's kind of the cutoff mark this year. And I think over the next few years, it'll be probably around there, wherever that second round QB falls. But for the Bengals not to do it with a guy you took 16th or took in your second round pick, whatever, I mean, it just is ridiculous, man. I mean, you make yourselves look so cheap to free agents and everyone. It's not worth these kind of headlines at all.
And I think his name's Shamar Stewart, something like that.
Yeah,
there's been reports of him going back to Texas A&M, practicing with the team. People are like, oh, he's going to play again for Texas A&M. Let me just say, as someone who works in NCAA athletics, that is not a thing.
You're breaking the news here?
Yeah, as soon as you declare for the draft, you forfeit any eligibility you have, let alone get drafted and have an agent. Now, the NFL and the NCAA could, I guess, change a rule to make that happen, but I'm not sure you want to set that precedent, because then that opens the floodgates to all kinds of things the NCAA and the NFL don't want any part of. So I don't see.
And again, the NFL should be frustrated with the Bengals at this point because this isn't necessary. You're causing a holdup for these draft picks and these guys that are trying to get started. I mean, if that guy comes in now because he hasn't touched the field and gets injured 1 week into training camp, he's going to be irate. You're going to be irate, and all of this for what? For offsetting language?
Yeah, I think his three options are this: he signs and plays, obviously one. 2, he can hold out and go play in the XFL or whatever it's called now.
Get redrafted next year.
And get redrafted next year. Or
and
3.
They lose that pick, by the way. This isn't a league where they get that back. Like, if that happens, sorry for you.
Yeah, or 3, demand a trade, I guess. Or those are his options. And I don't know.
I've only seen a trade once before the season when a player was drafted. And it was Lynn Bowden Jr., who was a player out of Kentucky. He was kind of a Wildcat QB gadget piece. And they couldn't find a position for him on the Raiders at wide receiver or running back that they liked him enough after they spent a 3rd-round pick on him. And they traded him to my Dolphins for, I believe it was a 4th-round pick or a 5th-round pick and some change. And it was before the season started, before he had played it down for them, and they drafted him.
I think ultimately he'll sign. So, we'll see what happens there. We'll be I'm here for the chaos. So I would be, I'm rooting for him just sitting out a year, go play in the whatever the whatever they're calling that league now. Go play there for a year, get redrafted again. That'd be. I'm here for that. But I think ultimately the deal will get done. He'll be at training camp, whatever. All right, so Michigan Eagles. Let's start there in the NFC East.
Okay.
First team on my list here. This will be probably controversial from the top. America's team, the Dallas Cowboys, 10.5 wins, going over or under. They are the 7th toughest strength of schedule with an average opponent rank of 14.5.
My starting point would be this. How many first-time head coaches do you ever see get 11 wins? Right?
Not
and
many.
So that's what they currently have. Late in the process, it feels like they kind of went the New York Knicks route, right? Of, we got to pick a guy. Here's a guy with a family last name. Let's go with it, right? This was not a we got our guy. We're letting our other coach go, and we've got this next whale, right? So you'd be hard pressed to tell me a first-time head coach that's cruising to 11 wins with the holes that they have. Yes, CeeDee Lamb's probably a top 5 wide receiver, if not top 3 wide receiver in the league. Dak shows you flashes and then looks not great as well. The O-line's been average at best in the recent years. What running game do you have to speak of currently that's proven anyway at this point, right? The defense is shows you something against maybe weaker teams, doesn't show you a lot versus elite teams like the Eagles and them. And so I don't see how you could land at 11 and feel real confident in that, especially with, like you're saying, a tough projected schedule.
And they add George Pickens to this already combustible situation. You know, he made some headlines in Pittsburgh when he was the guy. Now he's lined up against CeeDee Lamb, who is
the guy.
Probably the guy and better than him, his offense.
Yeah.
So, on paper, I like that signing. I don't know personality-wise how that's going to work. And on top of all that, you're in, I'm not going to say the toughest division, but you're in definitely a top 4 division in the league right now. With the Eagles, who are the reigning Super Bowl champions, and the Commanders, who seem to have Superman at their quarterback.
That's right.
So I think I'm going to hammer the under here with 10.5 wins. It's just, you never know with the Cowboys. Like, they win games, they should lose. They lose games, they should win.
That's right. That's absolutely right.
And you just, it's hard to tell with them. I think 10 wins. I think 9-10 wins is definitely in the realm of possibility. But say 11 and winning the division when you got to play the Eagles twice, you got to play the Commanders twice, and on top of having a almost top 5 toughest schedule, like that's just.
Yeah, you probably get swept by the Eagles, probably, like that'd be best odds, right? And then you're probably at best splitting with the Commanders. That's 3 losses there, and we haven't looked anywhere else.
I believe they opened the season against the Eagles. They do. Week 1.
Yeah, you're losing both those Eagles games this year. They have almost no drop off, and we'll get to the Eagles here in a second, so I'm not going to talk about them too much. But you would be underdogs in both those games easily.
Their first 5 games are Eagles, Giants, Bears, Packers, Jets. So
I probably wouldn't even I'm not taking you in a Packers game.
Yeah, even the Bears.
The Bears are spicy. The Bears, that's the exact type of game you're talking about. Of they win games they shouldn't and they lose games they shouldn't. If you tell me the Bears win that game on a last second field goal or by, whatever at the end, would that shock you at all? No.
No. And then the Giants are kind of frisky too. Like, is Trayvon Diggs back? Is he? I know he got hurt. I think is he back yet? The Cowboys.
For the Cowboys?
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you his injury status currently off the top of my head.
Torn ACL. Reports from minicamp. Continues injury. Rehab.
So they have to ease him back either way. It's not going to be hopping ready to go.
And he's a definition of a boomer bust defensive back too. Yeah. Like, he's either getting a pick 6 or he's getting burnt for a touchdown. Like, there's no
getting roasted by your wide receiver 3.
There's no in between there. So there's too much combustible. Like, so many different things can go wrong. I like
the word you use, combustible. Like, there's just too many fires that can happen immediately.
Yeah, there's too many things that can blow the season up. Dak, had that nasty leg injury. It all takes something simple like that to when you're talking about this kind of win total.
That pressure means something, right? When you're in that environment as a first-year head coach, every headline is going to be calling for your head. NFL jobs aren't, hey, you got 3-4 years here, figure it out, right? Anymore. We see coaches get fired now after 1 year.
And if you're asking,
got to know that's a possibility.
And just from the betting side of it, you're asking me to sweat out 11 wins. I'm not doing it. Like, I'm hitting the under. Right. Yeah. I'm hitting the under, and I'm living with that. If they hit the over, great.
We could start our first Missouri parlay that we've ever had once these betting laws change. And you told me that was the first we had to bet on. We both are putting down under.
Correct. And I believe I saw something December 1st is when that's going to be rolling out. So might be able to get the playoffs maybe. So I thought that would have been launched by now. But that is what it is. We'll talk about that at a different time. Next up, defending Super Bowl champions, the Eagles. Also at 10.5 wins.
I would hammer the over.
You're going to hammer the over there?
Yeah. I don't see any significant drop off there. Um, some people I'm sure would say Darius Slay. That dude's aging. Not that he had fallen off, but that dude's aging. And you just did it with two rookies, with Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper
Yeah.
DeJean out there being the best part of your secondary anyway. So you didn't lose any significant pass rush. You lost Milton Williams, one of your D tackles, but you've got plenty of horses there as well. So I just don't. And continuity means something. I think that's what's lost on the Patriots run that they had and the Chiefs run that they've been on. Continuity amongst your coaches and the majority of your players coming back means something, right? When you don't have to change schemes, when players aren't learning new things like that, it just means something because everybody's on the same page, especially when the moments are big, right? And the Eagles don't have to make a significant change anywhere currently.
And just for the record, they do have the nice toughest strength of schedule this year. My only concern there would be Saquon if he gets hurt, but even if he gets hurt, I don't
Yeah.
know how many wins is he responsible for. 2, 3,
Right.
maybe.
And you've still got 3 first-round pick wide receivers and a quarterback who knows the system inside and out, and a top 5 to 7 offensive line, and a top 3 defensive line. Like I said, there's just too many ways to beat you. Kind of opposite the Cowboys, right? How there's a bunch of ways your season can implode. They have too many ways to game plan to beat you. They have too
Right.
many talents at too many places.
Yeah, and in my opinion, Saquon's great. Don't take me wrong. Saquon's been great since Penn State. But if you have
Yeah,
a great offensive line, it for the most part doesn't really matter who your running back is because they will get positive
that's right.
yards. Now
That's right.
Saquon is able to take it from a 10-yard gain to a 30-yard to the house
An
touchdown.
explosive 50-yard house
But
call. Yeah.
at the end, like it's not enough to make you be like, I don't know, without Saquon can we do it? The defense alone
Mm-hmm.
will win you games. Just
Oh
keep it
yeah.
close.
Yeah.
But as we mentioned, start the season against the Cowboys, and they play the Chiefs, Rams, Bucks, Broncos. As their first
I mean,
five
that's
games.
definitely not easy. That's not easy to start, for sure. But
And that Chiefs
again,
game is in
I
Kansas
would
City,
bet they're yeah, I would bet outside of the Kansas City game, they're going to be the favorite in all of those games. I would bet you.
most likely, yeah. So I think, yeah, flip side of that, I think you hammer the over and don't worry about it too much, just because.
Yeah, if for some reason the under hits, the wheels fell off somewhere injury wise, most likely. You had a Hurts injury, you had a Saquon injury, and maybe one of the wide receivers. They're just really bad luck. I think it's the
Yeah,
only way you find that.
basically like the Niners last year. McCaffrey's hurt.
Yeah,
Just
exactly.
everything implodes around you, and then it's just the season's just chalked. All right,
Yeah,
so next up we got the New York Football Giants, 6.5 wins.
that's right.
They had the fifth toughest schedule this year. I
Mm,
know they drafted our guy Jackson Dart out of Ole Miss,
yeah,
and then
yeah.
Giants Country, let's ride, and Russell Wilson. So what do
And
you?
Damus, I
Yeah,
believe.
and I believe yes. No, Jameis. I thought he was a Jet. No, am I tripping?
I believe James is a Giant.
You think we look these things up? James Winston. You're correct. New York Football Giant. All right. So Giants 6.5 wins. I'm gonna I like Neighbors a lot.
Hmm.
But the fifth toughest strength schedule scares me. I think I'm gonna hit the under on them personally. They start with the Commanders, Cowboys, Chiefs, Chargers, Saints. The only game that's winnable there, I think, is the Saints. Honestly, right? Like
Yeah,
Commanders,
if you feel real confident.
maybe. I don't feel great about that. Cowboys, maybe. Keep it close. See what happens. Chiefs, Chargers. I don't think about Chargers either. I don't know. Like they're a tough team to try and figure out because they don't. Outside Neighbors, what excites you about that team?
Yeah, Neighbors is exciting, and I like Dayball. Honestly, I mean he was who I wanted the Dolphins to hire before when he was in the same coaching uh, cycle as McDaniel, and that's kind of the guy I wanted. But Jackson Dart's probably not coming in, I'd imagine, till week probably 6 to 8 at the earliest because you've got these veteran guys, right? So it's not like you can say, hey, we've got this young, exciting guy might take the league by storm. He's not going to come in until things look meh anyway, or an injury happens. And so does Russ keep you afloat and find that over? I don't know. They are kind of hard to project, right? Because the offensive line doesn't impress you. The running game doesn't impress you. They don't have a scary tight end at this point.
Yeah, at 6.5, I think you hit the under and you probably get 6. You might sweat out like a week 17.
Yeah, you're gonna sweat. Russ is gonna make you sweat a few of those because, like I said, he might run into a 2-game streak of beating somebody they shouldn't on last-second field goals because he drove them down and got at least in range.
All right, just looking through it. All right, so Commanders probably not favored of that game. Cowboys not favored that game. Chiefs not favored that game. Chargers probably not favored. Close line. Saints probably a pick 'em. Maybe it's in New Orleans though, so probably like Saints by like 3.5. Eagles no. Broncos probably not. Eagles definitely not. Niners probably not. Bears. This November 9th, so we'll see how the season goes by then. Packers no. Lions no. Patriots maybe. Commanders, maybe. Vikings maybe. Raiders maybe. Then you end the season with the Cowboys. So I don't.
Yeah, there's no clear and obvious, right? Like that's the thing is to find 7 in a season. There's got to be some clear and obvious.
And so they're gonna need either Russell Wilson to tap into something that he hasn't done in 5 years, something like that. And then, or Dart is just his rookie phenom that comes out just slinging it and can carry your team. All right, so next we got the surprising team from last year, the Washington Commanders, the Command Skins, as I like to call them. They have got the 12th toughest strength of schedule this year after having one of the easier schedules last year. Rookie sensation Daniels at quarterback. They added Deebo Samuel. The line's 6.5. What do you think?
6.5?
Yep.
The NFC Championship over/under wins for the Command Skins is 6.5.
Let me check on FanDuel, but when I pulled the lines, it was 6.5.
They are moonwalking to 6.5.
Sure, let me double check I'm right here.
I'm stunned if that's the case. That's a house payment I would put on
that. Washington. Actually, the line moved. It's 5.5 now.
5.5. I mean, Terry McLaurin being unhappy means we're not going to win 6 games.
Yeah,
that is startling. You got their first 5 pulled up?
Yep. Give me 1 second. I'm confirming a different site to make sure that's right. Yeah, I'm seeing 6.5, 5.5, kind of where we're looking.
Oh, that's insanity. That's insanity. You don't go on it wasn't like their run was luck, right? They didn't get a crazy onside kick. They didn't get a double doink situation. Jaden Daniels is the real deal. He's not even a young guy, right? Jaden Daniels, the reason some people didn't want him as high was because he was an older guy. He could process and do these things. He wasn't a young 21, 22-year-old guy. So again, you don't even have any worry of like, oh, this second year they're going to figure him out because, he's still so young. He probably doesn't even know what he's doing out there. Like, no, that guy is mature and has things figured out.
And, as we like to say, if you got the goods, dude, you got the goods, and
yeah.
People talk about, oh, you got to go to the right team, blah, blah, blah. Here's a perfect example of this. That Commanders team last year was not good because he was the first overall pick or second. What was he? Second overall? Second overall.
Caleb went 1, he went 2.
That's right. So that team is not good. And he literally carried them to the NFC Championship game. How many quarterbacks ever...
You can make the case it was the scariest game that the Eagles had.
Yeah. Like, so, we thought, like, we're going back and forth on should it be Tua or should it be Herbert? Well, by this point, they should have flashed something.
Yeah.
Then guys like Daniels flash immediately. You know they got it. Like, so Burrow did the same thing when he came out. Like, it's either you're good or you're not. Like Trevor Lawrence, prove it here. He should have already proved it.
Yep.
If you're the best prospect since Peyton Manning, you should have shown us something by now.
Yeah, there's lots of variables into your success, obviously, right? Offensive line, weapons, coaching, scheme, all those things. But you're right. Jaden Daniels shows you if you've got that, you don't need near as much. And yes, he's got Terry McLaurin, who's a top 10 wide receiver probably. And Cliff Kingsbury came in and worked wonders in their scheme for him, right? To make that a QB-friendly offense for sure. But again, they didn't get there by luck. Like I said, you don't make it that far on luck. So, like I said, that is a mortgage payment. If we were parlaying that tonight and sending that pick in for Cowboys under,
Commanders
over, I would not lose an ounce of sleep over either one of those.
No, we're taking that to the bank. So looking at the first 5, I got them 4-1 personally. Week 1 against the Giants. Week 2 against the Packers, which I'll pencil in a loss there. It's at Green Bay.
Sure.
Week 3 against the Raiders, W. Week 4 against the Falcons, W. Week 5 against the Chargers in LA. Pick them, toss up. You know.
At worst, most likely 3-2.
Right.
Yeah, and if for some reason the wheels haven't started yet, they're still probably at worst 2-3. You're telling me I'm not finding 4 more W's throughout the season?
Yep. So then they got the Bears, probably a W. It's in Washington.
Probably.
Cowboys and Dallas, never know. At the Chiefs, the way the Chiefs were last year, never know. That's a scary game.
Yeah.
Against Seattle.
Is that in Kansas City?
That's in Kansas City.
That helps, yeah.
They got the Seahawks at home, probably a win. Lions at home.
Well, hold on. Yeah, I mean, the Seahawks have a totally different quarterback situation, everything. Yeah, that's a dub.
Yeah. Lions, probably a loss, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Your Dolphins on November 16th in Miami. Probably a toss-up there. See how the season's going by that point. Broncos at home against the Broncos. Probably a win. I don't know.
Yeah, unless you're on the Bo Nix train, which I'm not. I'm more on the Jaden Daniels train than I am the Bo Nix train.
And then at the Vikings, probably a win there. At the Giants.
Again, I love J.J. McCarthy, but still, the Vikings don't even know what they have.
Yeah.
We know what we have in Jaden Daniels.
Then they end the end of their season's kind of brutal. So you should have hit it by this point. But you got Eagles, Cowboys, Eagles. So good luck to you, Commanders.
And again, what Cowboys are those? But you're right. But if you're them, that's when you want to play the Eagles. As at the end like that.
Yeah, because you're probably playing for the division title at that point.
Yeah, you're playing for seeding at that point.
Those 2 games are going to matter for sure.
Right.
All right. So the recap: NFL East, Cowboys under 10.5, Eagles over 10.5, Giants under 6.5, Commanders over 6.5 points.
Put it in stone. We'll check it back 8 months from now.
All right, let's head to what I think is probably the toughest division in the NFL. Toss-up between the AFC North and NFC North for me personally. But we got the Lions at 10.5 wins. Having just lost their offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
A lot of different questions on offense. That being said, the year they had last year, they lost, I believe, 14 players to injury that were starters at one point last year.
Yeah, and I'm a big Dan Campbell guy, but I think that Ben Johnson loss is substantial.
It's not just Ben Johnson. It's like the line coach. It was the receiver. Like,
that too.
If you go down the list, it's like every coach.
Yeah, play calling and scheme. You just can't replicate it, right? With, hey, this guy was his understudy. Hopefully, he can do the same thing, right? Or, hey, this guy's been around the block. He can probably do some similar things, right? There's a reason Ben Johnson's been heralded for the last 2 or 3 years, people trying to steal him away. And I love everything the Lions have built. I love Dan Campbell. I love how they go for it all the time. They're so fun to root for and watch. And I love that they're not the same old bummy Lions that we've watched our entire lives. But 10.5, I feel like I'd be sweating if you tell me 11-0. I feel like I'll be sweating a bit there on feeling real confident in that.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go under just because there's just a lot. That's a lot. Right. Yeah. So first 5: Packers, Bears, Ravens, Browns, Bengals.
Mm,
Then they got the Chiefs at 6. But in that
yeah.
division,
I would not be surprised if they hit it, right? If you get to 11, it wouldn't shock me in the slightest. But you need all these guys to come back healthy and right and figure out the offense again and do all these things.
yeah, I
So
mean,
you're right.
there's no way
Somewhere
they get
not.
hit with the injury bug twice, right? So
Yeah,
on defense, I like them, but that's just a big number. Like,
it is. 11's
like,
big, man. Not many teams get there. I mean, that's why that Cowboy one's absurd. 11 for a first-year head coach hasn't shown anything. And so the Lions, at least they've shown it to you and have the same head coach.
yeah, I think it's 10. I think the number's 10. I
Yeah,
don't want to split that 11th. It's just I don't. If we're just running it back, nothing changed. Johnson's there, defense has come back
it's over
healthy.
easy. It's
Yeah,
over easy.
yeah, for sure. But with all these coaching changes and things, you can't discount what that means to an offense sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think I'm gonna go under. If it goes over, I like the Lions. They're a fun team. This is by no means dog of the Lions. I think it's just, and I think I forgot to mention they have the second toughest strength of schedule this year. So
Yeah,
throw that
I
in
think
on
I'm
there
with
too.
you there. You can mark me down for under at somewhere in the 9 to 10 range.
Yep. All right. Next up, we got the Green Bay Packers at 9.5, and they are the
Mm.
eighth toughest strength of schedule this year. I'll pull
I
their
might
schedule up.
surprise you here. I might surprise you here and say hammer the over
Hammer the over, he
because
says.
I'm a big LaFleur guy. I think he gets away from the run just a little bit, but I like Jordan Love. I like their wide receiver room because they don't have a guy. So it's hard to scheme against because they spread the ball so much. There's not like, hey, there's our wide receiver one. Make sure we shift everything his way. You almost don't know what you're preparing for because they spread it so evenly and nobody's solidified themselves as this like go-to monster wide receiver one at this point. Their running game's always good because he schemes it so well. It's just how well does he stick to it. Edrin Cooper at linebacker is a budding star. Their defensive line's solid at worst. The corner situation with losing Jair Alexander, even though he's missed like 16 games or something crazy over the last 2 years, at least it was a guy when he was playing, you kind of know what you were getting. So I'm sure the secondary probably leaves a little bit to be desired, although McKinney was great for them as his first year in their system at safety. But I'm a big LaFleur guy, man. And I think you said 9.5.
Yep.
I think they find 10. I would put money on 10 there.
I don't know, man. Look at the first 5. You got the Lions, the Commanders, the Browns, the Cowboys, the Bengals, the Cardinals.
I would say they go on a 4-game win streak there, most likely. Browns, Cowboys.
That it comes to me. What happens week 1 against the Lions is in Green Bay. If they win that game,
you could start the season 5-1. You win
I
that
think
game.
you win that game, you're feeling good. And we forget last year they were, for what they were last year, they had that week 1 game again on the slip and slide down in Mexico, and Jordan Love got hurt. So their season kind of got derailed almost immediately up until that point.
Yeah, they were kind of on skates to start. Yeah.
So I think I'm with you. I think I'm gonna go over and win the division.
Woo!
Just because with the unknown at the Lions,
yeah,
I just think it's.
I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I'm telling you, the continuity matters, and they've got it.
I think it's the Packers' time. And they just drafted the receiver in the first round for the first time in
Matthew Golden,
4-9,
baby.
So I think there's a lot to be excited there in Green Bay. All right, to our guy, Coach Creel's team, the Bears. The Bears. They are
Bears.
8.5 is their number, and they have the toughest strength of schedule in the NFL this season.
On paper, if you just looked at this roster position by position, I think you would look at the paper and say, oh, that's an over 8.5 win team. But just in my experience watching teams built like this, where it's not through the draft and through, organic growth when you're taking a bunch of pieces from everywhere else, including your coach, who I like and think he's going to have a successful offensive scheme. And I don't dislike Caleb. I don't think I was ever as high on him as a lot of people were. I think I very rarely have seen it all come together so perfectly the first year of all these things coming together. And their offensive line being a question, even though they got your boy Joe Tooney from the Chiefs to help things. That's not confirmed yet, the success of that offensive line. All of these question marks would make me go under. Looking at the names in the roster, I would think would be over, but all of this being so new everywhere makes me want to say under.
I'm going to say under as well. I can't get the end of the game against the Commanders last year with Stevenson talking crap to the crowd and then gets a Hail Mary dumped on his head. Right. Like, it's something organizationally, like it's tough to overcome stuff like that. And, he's still on the team. Maybe they addressed it, but, the offense, like I said, on paper, the offense looks good with Luther Burden, Rome Odunze. They got Loveland in the first round. They got interesting, Sweat, DeAndre Sweat reunites with Ben Johnson after Ben Johnson shipped him out of Detroit. So we'll see what happens there with them. I think there's just, like you said, too many question marks. And on defense, I like Sweat a lot. Or it's Josh Sweat, right? Swish.
Josh Sweat, yeah.
But defense, like on defense, how are you gonna stop anybody? So you're a team that's got to score 28 a game, 25, 28 a game to win. Maybe not even win, just to hang around. Like that's a lot of it's a lot of volatility there for a quarterback that's got some offensive line issues. So
and all those things have to go right, man. Like I'm saying, in the first year of that, like your check calls late in games when things are tight and all these things, there's just you haven't done it before. And so it's hard to feel confident in, you guys are going to nail it all. You guys are going to nail every free agent you've accumulated and all these things. You're going to nail all of this year one.
And on top of being hardest strength of schedule. So first 5 games, play the Vikings.
Yeah.
You probably feel good after that. Maybe. We'll see what happens there. That's kind of a toss-up game, honestly. Maybe. Then you're at the Lions, against the Cowboys, against the Raiders, against the Commanders. At best, you're 2-3, 3-2, somewhere in there.
Maybe find a way to win one. Yeah, you're looking at 3-2.
Then they got the Saints, Ravens, Bengals, Giants, Vikings again, Steelers, Eagles, Packers, Browns, Packers, Niners, Lions. So I don't know. I'm not feeling 8.5.
I would rather sweat that under than sweat that over.
Than sweat the over, yeah. Because then you're not worried about you're not worried about Bears Browns December 14th. Like what happens?
That's what I'm saying. Like I'm not. There's no scenario where I'm like halfway through the season. I'm like, yo, they're 7-2 out here. Like they're gonna fly to this 9, and I'm worried about this. Like that just doesn't seem even in the realm of possibility.
I got them at for sure 6, and then you're sweating at that point.
In a sense, what do you stumble into? What do you find yourself winning that you probably shouldn't have? And that's assuming no losses that we shouldn't have.
Correct. That's assuming you don't slip up against the Saints or the Giants or the Vikings.
Yeah.
Or the Browns, whatever the hell they're going to be.
Yeah.
All right, last team in that division, the Minnesota Vikings. Line is 6.5 with rookie quarterback, I guess, J.J. McCarthy.
6.5 with my boy J.J., who Adante and Salt hate, but I don't care. And if I had to make my top 3 to 5 coaches in the league, he's in there. Vikings coach, Kevin O'Connell, just the way his offense looks as far as everything is easy. Everything, you can just tell he knows absolutely what he's doing in that continuity of that offense. I know JJ hasn't shown it yet, right? Well, one, he didn't play at all, so obviously hasn't shown it. But That doesn't mean he wasn't in meetings, though. That doesn't mean he wasn't sitting there through all of that and watching it all play out the entire season. Now, is that getting the game reps? No, it's not. But I think he finds 7 to 9 wins there, especially with Flores still on defense, and their defense is going to be fine, right? He's never had a bad defense. I don't see how they wouldn't cash that over unless JJ's just atrocious. And if that's the case, they're going to find a free agent somewhere, a Kirk Cousins, they're going to trade for something. You know what I'm saying? If for some reason that is terrible, they're going to find the kill switch and get a veteran guy in there quick enough to right the ship.
So they do have the third toughest strength of schedule in the league.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'm going to go over, just looking at it. I got week 1 against the Bears, winnable game. Week 2 against the Falcons, winnable game. Week 3 against the Bengals, probably not, but never know. Week 4 against the Steelers.
I have a hot take. Bengals might be a bottom 5 team in the league this year, but we'll see it for next time.
All right. All right. You got the Steelers. So you're saying you could be 5-0. What you're saying? 1, 2.
I don't know about that, but I just don't think JJ's going to lose you games. Like the way he's going to play him is going to be so safe and so easy read wise that I just don't see him losing them games. And JJ, think about what he did at Michigan, right? It was the same thing. He's surrounded by talent, surrounded by a great scheme. Harbaugh's got all this figured out. Hey, make a play when you can, but don't be doing crazy stuff, right? And that's why he was hated on, because he never put up gaudy stats, but he always made the right decision, right play. He's athletic, can make plays with his legs. I just think he's going to be able to find ways to get them what they need to get done.
So Bengals, Steelers. God knows what Steelers are going to look like. Browns.
Yeah.
Hard telling there. Eagles. Probably not. Chargers.
Yeah.
Never know. Lions. Probably not. Tough game. Ravens.
Yeah.
Probably not. Bears. Yes. Packers. Probably not. Seahawks. Winnable. Commanders. Probably not. Cowboys. Probably not. Giants. Winnable. Lions again. Then you got the Packers. So they kind of end the season kind of tough, but
they're just going to have to split some division games that you don't think they're going to split, right? They're going to find a way to win some division games that you think, like I said, split with the Lions if you can, right? And doing stuff like that. But again, I just think they're too well coached. To me, you can make the case outside of Reed and Spagnuolo, they are the best coaching unit in the NFL.
Yeah.
You have a great offensive mind. You have a great defensive mind. Both could be head coaches anywhere they wanted to if Flores didn't have his baggage, right? And they both are just too good at what they do to not find 7 wins to me.
Kind of flip side we talking about with the Lions. 10 has a big number. 6.5 is kind of a small number, right? For a team like that. Especially when you got talk about JJ McCarthy, but look at what they did with Sam Darnold last year. Like Sam Darnold's been everybody was out on Sam Darnold his entire career, even at USC. And now, now he goes to Seattle, and everyone's kind of like, well, I don't know. It's like, well, in his season, great, but for him to turn a guy like Darnold into had the best season of his career. So, and all you're asking JJ McCarthy to do is kind of just be, we'll see if he can go over the top to Jefferson or not. But the way they play him's in the slot more anyway. So just give him the ball and we'll see what happens. I think I'm with you. I'm gonna hit the over. I'm not gonna. I rather. My parents are Vikings fans too, because my dad had heart surgery at the Mayo Clinic up there, so they've kind of been following the Vikings ever since there. And they're front team to root for. And so 6.5, I'm gonna hit the over. I'm not gonna. You're also looking at value too, right? Like.
Yeah, that is great value. Yeah, absolutely.
It's not necessarily like. We're dogging these teams or we're hot on these teams. It's like if you're telling me a number, and the Commanders too. Like you're telling me the NFC runner-ups are 6.5. Like what are we talking about? So if you're looking for value and money, that is right there. So the recap: the NFC North, we got the Lions under, Packers over, Bears under, Vikings over.
Put it in stone. And
now we'll head to what has been historically the toughest division to figure out in the history of the NFL, the NFC South. You never know what you're going to get year to year with these teams. That's true. So first up, we got the Falcons at 9.5. They have the
Michael Penix and them boys.
Why can I find the Falcons on this list?
You got that big Penix energy down there in
They got
ATL.
the 21st toughest strength of schedule this year with second-year quarterback, I guess, Michael Penix
Yeah.
of UW.
Here's my issue with them. What you got? You got the total for me?
Yeah, it's 9.5.
I would go under. And here's my issue. It's not even a Michael Penix issue. It's not. I think Drake London is going to have a breakout year. I think he's going to have like top 10 wide receiver numbers, top 8 wide receiver numbers this year. It's just hard for me, whatever type of coach you are, if your team doesn't excel on that side of the ball, for me to give you a double-digit win season. And they have a defensive coach, and you'd be hard-pressed to tell me that they're going to be a top 8 defense, top 10 defense, top 12 defense, right? They've got pieces. AJ Terrell and some of those guys are solid for sure. But when you're a defensive coach, I need you to be an absolute menace, like problem defense, right, to make that worth it, because you're not going to be helping the offensive pieces in that way. And so I would go under there. And like I said, not for lack of talent on the roster. I think that's more of a coaching thing that I'm nervous on there is, when it comes down to a 2-minute drive to win a game, I trust Penix. Do I trust what you're calling for Penix? Do I trust what your offensive coordinator is calling for Penix? Because you're the head coach and you're giving him an idea of what you want, in those scenarios most likely. And you're a defensive guy. So that always makes me a little queasy. And my Dolphins go down there. That's the game I'm taking the boys to this year, to Atlanta. So I'll be at one of their games in late October. But I would say 8. You said 9.5. I would say somewhere in that 8 to 9 feels right. I would feel better. I would lose less sleep over the under.
I'll go to under as well, just because everyone in the division ends 8-8 every year.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you just never know. Those teams go back and forth all the time. Super hard to predict. 9.5, too big a line for me. I'm going under. And then we got the Saints at 7.5. And I think I was gonna go under there because I don't know. They do have the second weakest schedule in the league, so that gives you some confidence.
That's the saving grace, right? But anytime we don't know who your week 1 starting quarterback is going to be, the safe bet, the smart money, like you just said, is the under.
Yeah, right? I'm going under. I'm not. Yeah, I'm not thinking twice about it. I don't want to think about that team. I want no part of it.
Yeah, and like I said, when you don't even know who your quarterback's going to be week 1, I don't need to worry about you.
Yeah, and 7.5 might get to 8. Like I said, it's because every team in the division gets to 8.
Yeah,
I'm not messing with it. Then we got the Bucks at 7.5. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they have the 26th toughest strength of schedule. Did lose their offensive coordinator to Duval. Chris Godwin.
And you're right. That normally would be a red flag for me. But I'm a Baker guy. I like Baker. And all their pieces on offense, outside of their first-round pick wide receiver out of Ohio State, Jackson Smith. No.
It's Mbuka.
And Emeka, who many called was the most pro-ready wide receiver in the draft, right? You've got offensive pieces that all know each other. So yes, the system might change some and is going to change some, but I still trust Baker and them boys to get over that number. Those are gamers. Mike and Baker and Godwin when he's back healthy, and Emeka. And they've got a nice running game, little 2-man running game with the cat out of Oregon who had a great rookie year. They just have a lot of nice pieces. Offensive line's good enough. And like I said, just in that division where you're not really worried about anybody running away with it, I would go over.
Yeah, I'm going to go over just because someone's got to go over the line 7.5. So they get to 8, you hit the over. Yeah. And I like them the most to have everybody in that division. At least I know kind of what I got there. without
Yeah.
a whole lot of question marks. Godwin was having a kind of resurgent season. That injury kind of scares me, but as you said, receiving room is aplenty there with Evans,
Oh
and they
yeah.
got plenty of options there. So if Godwin starts off slow, it's not the end of the world. And then Bucky
Hmm.
Irving and running game solid. So I feel pretty confident hitting the over there. And then we got Carolina Panthers at 5.5. They have the 20th toughest strength of schedule in the
Five and
league.
a half. 5.5 is so low that I would really only reserve that for, first year QB with a bunch of question marks or a new coaching situation. I I think you go over there. I think that roster is but Bryce showed some things late. Their head coach kind of found things and figured it out late. And I think you build on that. And 6 doesn't feel that crazy with what you're telling me projected. Isn't that crazy of a strength of schedule, right? I mean, it just feels like if I split with the Falcons, if I split with the Bucks on a last second field goal by chance, right, which wouldn't surprise anybody, like 6 doesn't feel absurd.
Yeah, again, value, right? 5.5 is such a low number. 6 isn't
Yeah.
crazy. So they start the season off with the Jaguars. I think I like the Jaguars a lot, but I don't know if I don't think I'll make them heavy favorites that game. The Cardinals, I don't know what the Cardinals are going to be. We'll get to that in a second. Falcons, we just talked about. Patriots, I don't know. Your Dolphins, probably a loss there. Cowboys,
Mhm.
Jets, hard telling with the Jets. Bills, a loss for sure. Packers, then you got the Saints, then you got the Falcons, Niners, Rams, that's kind of tough. Panthers, Bucks, Seahawks, Panthers. Like, you're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's call it 9 games you can get there for sure.
Yeah.
They're at least
Yeah.
not
I
at least not games like
you said
it's
better
not.
value.
Yeah, you're not like the Bills. Like you're not gonna get smoked, and the line's not gonna be super crazy.
I
But
think
five
you
and a
nailed it
half,
with value. 5.5 is crazy value.
yeah. And then they got the kid you like at Arizona, Tet McMillan,
Yeah.
there. So I think there's like I said, Bryce kind of came
To
back.
go with another guy they took,
Leggett out of Carolina,
Leggett
South
out of South
Carolina.
Carolina the year
Yeah,
before.
yeah. So I think it's like 5. Like I said, that I wouldn't be shocked if it's under. But at that number, I almost rather root for I rather root for them to get the over, and
Yeah,
you want to
absolutely
have
right. I
fun.
agree with
You
you.
want to have fun doing this stuff too, right? Like,
Yes, absolutely right.
so kind of room for chaos a little bit there, going the over on the Panthers. We'll see what happens. So the recap: got the Falcons at under 9.5, Saints under 7.5, Bucks over 7.5, Panthers over 5.5. Now we'll head to the NFC West, which I have no idea what to do with this division. um, so we'll start with the San Francisco 49ers, who are
The
at
Brock Pot, the slow cooker.
11.5 is their line. And
Woo!
they do have the weakest strength of schedule in the league.
You're telling me to cash that I've got to stare at 12 wins?
Correct. And have McCaffrey not blow out an Achilles or a calf or a knee
After I've already lost Debo as well, who I know
correct.
is trending down, but still
And you
that's an
got
integral piece of the
who the receiver they just signed who's now holding out for more money. Jennings
Juwan
Johnson.
or Jennings.
No,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
Jennings. It's Jennings.
And then your first round wide receiver, Ricky Pearsall, got shot
Got
last
shot.
year and is on the pup to start this year.
You got aging George Kittle.
Aging George Kittle. I would go under him. And when healthy, yes, they're an extremely talented roster. That's a scary number. You're going to sweat that every week trying to find 12. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to have so many things go right. Even if you're a great team, you have to have so many. Think about how good the Chiefs were last year. They could have been under 12 last year if things don't just happen differently, right?
Yeah.
Waiting for 12 is stressful.
Well, I'm gonna go under mainly because it's the biggest line in the conference. And I mean, yes, they were the team from hell last year with McCaffrey getting hurt and just everything went sideways almost immediately for them. But you're in a tough division. Yeah, it's a weaker strength of schedule, but you're a year older now as a team. Three
Everybody's
years,
used to it.
3 years removed now from the Super Bowl run. 2 years.
Yeah. Everybody's used to your scheme. Everybody's used to the players.
And if you're saying I gotta rely on McCaffrey, who just has some devastating injuries and still isn't completely healthy from that,
Yeah.
I'm not sweating that week to week. I'm just not doing it. I'm
That's
not
not fun.
like that. That's not. Yeah, I'm not worried about. I'm not riding that. I'm not getting on that train. I'm not on that road. So they got the Seahawks, Saints, Cardinals, Jags, Rams. Now you can start the season off hot. To be fair, 1, 2, 3. Could be 4-1. Could be 5-0. Bucks.
Could, but if you told me the Rams stole one
Yeah.
and the Jags stole one, that wouldn't surprise me.
Correct. And Seahawks in Seattle. You never know.
Division game.
Yep. So it's definitely they're going to be favored in a lot of these games. But to get 11.5.
Woo. That's a big number, brother.
Yeah, I think they get to 11. I wouldn't be shocked to get to 12, but I'm just not.
Yeah.
I'm not sweating that out. I'm just not doing it. So we'll go under there. Seahawks 8.5, and they have the 23rd
How much
toughest
do you
strength of
believe
schedule.
in Sam Darnold?
I'm just out on him, honestly. Like I've seen enough with Darnold at the end of the season. There, the wheels kind of fell off. They got rid of McCaffrey. Of Metcalf, I mean.
Yeah.
I do like some pieces they have on defense, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, and they got a defensive coach. They've got pieces. They just took the biggest freak in this draft as far as physical freak. The safety they took out of South Carolina, Eamon Worry. But you said the number's 11.5?
That was for the Niners. 8.5 for the Seahawks.
8.5. Okay, 8.5. Does your defense carry you to 9+ wins? I don't know if it's that type of defense, right?
It's nice, but it's not like we're gonna.
It is.
It's not the Steelers or the Eagles by any means.
Right, and the problem is you're in a pretty good offensive division. The Rams
without having a good offense, without having a good offense yourself.
Right, and so you're going to be behind the 8 ball most games offensively. And yes, your defense is good, but are they going to be tired keeping up with these other good offenses in your division? And I just don't know if they're balanced enough to be that good. So that might be a surprising one that I go under on, even though I like their coach, Mike Macdonald. I think he's done a good job there. If you had kept Geno, I'd probably go over, It might be that simple. If you had kept Geno, Geno's not a world beater. If you had kept Geno, I think I'd go over there.
Yeah, I think I go under. I think they get 8. 9, I just don't know. They got the Niners, they got the Steelers, DK Metcalf revenge game week 2, book it. Saints, Cardinals, Bucks, Jags, Texans, Commanders, Seahawks, Rams, Titans, Vikings, Falcons, Colts, Rams, Seahawks, Niners. There's just too many toss-up games there. Like, yes, that could mean they hit the over.
But nine's a higher number than you think when you're trying to say I need 5 or 6 gimmies here, right?
Yeah, like none of those games. All right, let's look at the gimme game. The games they are favored in, right? Saints, maybe. Cardinals, maybe. Titans, probably.
Yep.
Vikings, maybe. Falcons, maybe. Colts, maybe. But there's one game, the Titans game is the only game where like they are for sure favored in that game.
Titans, Colts, I'd probably do. So yeah, 2. But yeah, you're right. You got to find 7 others now.
Yeah, and then the division that they're gonna beat each other up all the time. Mm-hmm. I think they get to 8. I don't think they get to 9. So I'm going under there. The Rams are 8.5 as well, and they have the 14th middle of the pack strength of schedule.
This is an easy one for me. McVay walks to 9 in his sleep. Like outside of injuries, We forgot to mention Cooper Kupp going back to the Seahawks, by the way.
Oh,
But
yeah.
either way, um,
Half a game.
McVay is that upper echelon type of coach to me, where it's like the wheels have to fall off injury wise for them to not find 9. So that's an easy one for me, just because I'm a big McVay guy, and I think he's just too good a coach.
They added Devontae Adams.
Mm-hmm.
They got Texans, Titans, Eagles, Colts, Niners. Say 1-1, 1-2, 2-2. Niners game's a toss-up.
Mm-hmm.
Ravens, Jags, Saints. That's a win. Bucks, Panthers. Man, I don't know.
That's why when I go back to coaches, that's what I mean. In all those games that you're considering a toss-up there, that's where I lean to a coach. And I think if you looked at those games and just said who's coaching who against who there, you're gonna take McVay, even if you think those teams are even. In a lot of those, which way could it go?
I think I'll go under. They
That's
are
my
my.
thought process.
I think I'll
That's
go
why I
under.
think
They're my team from hell team this year. I think Stafford gets hurt or something goes sideways. Something goes sideways there. I just don't. I like McVay. Again, I'm like you. I like McVay as a coach, but I just think I don't know. I don't have good vibes coming out of LA.
not unreasonable.
And then we got the Cardinals, last team of the night here. At 6.5 wins, they have the 28th toughest strength of schedule.
This is one of your great value Walmart picks here, because I'm not a big Kyler guy. Yes, he beat the Dolphins almost single-handedly last year, but he shows you something, and then he goes on a 3-game spurt of nothing. He just is. You have no idea what you're getting game to game from him. I don't love their offense. I don't love their pieces. Gannon, their coach, does absolutely nothing for me. I would say you probably find 6 to 7, but I could see this being a wheels fall off, fire the coach. We need a hard reset and be done with Kyler type of season for them. And I'm going to go under here. Even though that's a low number value wise, where we normally find a way to get over that. I think I could easily talk myself into under there.
I'm gonna go over just because of the line, and I have the Rams at under, so that means probably gotta go Cardinals over. And I think this is a sneaky wildcard team this year.
Really?
Like the offense some, I think they showed flashes last year, and they start off Saints, Panthers, Niners, Seahawks, Titans. So you're probably getting 3.
You start off 2-0 and be feeling good.
Yeah, so you're probably getting 3 in the first 5 there, and you're already halfway to your number. And then you got the Colts the week after that, so there's 4. And then you got the Packers, Cowboys, probably both losses, but never know, and especially the Cowboys game. Seahawks, Niners, Jags, Bucks, Rams, Texans, Falcons. Really they're playing the NFC South a lot this year.
I just don't think they're favored in any of those games. If you had to guess the line on those. But again, you're going to stumble into some that you weren't supposed to win anyway. So I'm not saying they're going to lose all those, but I'm just saying.
The only games they're favored are probably the Panthers, Titans, Colts, maybe.
Mm-hmm. And I told you I was sneaky higher on the Panthers, so I think the Panthers probably split with them.
Yeah, you're right. And then they got the Bengals second last week as well. Who you said's a bottom 5 team for you this year. So.
Bottom 5.
But 6.5, I think I'm hitting the over, and I'm just gonna have fun with this team. They got Marvin Harrison Jr., who kind of started off slow last year. I don't know. I just like the pieces. I like James Conner. I like Trey McBride. I don't know. They got Josh Sweat on defense. I like him a lot. They got Buda Baker, AD. But I think this is I think you're right. This is the last hurrah for this is kind of prove it year for.
Mizzou legend Darius Robinson. Mizzou
That's
shout
right.
out there. Didn't play much last year because of injury to start the year, but they're probably expecting a big second year from him.
Yeah. So I think you take the 6.5. You just have fun with that team. Honestly, like there's gonna be enough games where, yeah, like I said, the first 5 games you're getting possibly halfway to your win total, you're feeling good. Then it's just what can we figure out later in the year. So that concludes our NFC over-unders for the week. Kind of ran long this week, so we're kind of probably gonna. We didn't have a whole lot to talk about in the past notes or film room sessions. So, anything else you would want to add before we end the pod tonight?
Next week I will let you guys know how Harry Potter night at the Cardinal game goes. I will have 3 Harry Potter jerseys that are going to be random draws as far as what houses the boys are getting. So that's what we're looking forward to this coming Thursday is Harry Potter night at the Cardinal game.
I did hear an ad for that I listened to the Cardinal game on the radio on the way back home.
It got me.
I heard buy your theme tickets now. So
that's right.
All right, I didn't send you the outro, so I'll just read it. So that's it for this episode of Athletes and Avatars, where the takes are hot, the KDs are mid, and the wives still don't care. Drop a subscribe, drop a follow, or rating, or don't. We're still gonna record.